When I was growing up in the squatter, I told my mother when I was young, and they still can remember it when they were still alive. I told them all in the dinner table, when I grow up, I'll never live this kind of life that you're giving me. So that's why my mom always called me the devil's child, because as a Filipino child growing up, you should not be talking like that to your parents. But I did. So that's why when I was growing up, I realized that changing your life is in your hands. This is day 31 of my budget bungalow build, and this is my first check on for the day. And as you can see, I have mentioned about age gap relationship yesterday, but I got a lot of messaging me that can I do it in a separate video, because they want to listen more in-depth explanation, not just incorporated it in a build or a different video, because they don't want to miss it, which I think makes sense. So I'll be making a separate video about that, and if I could interview some people, what do they think about the large age gap, from Filipinos themselves. So going down now here, I want to show you today something really strange. That this day 31, you haven't seen this for a while. You haven't seen this because it's really unusual that I'm going down there now, and there is this thing that you haven't seen for the last 31 days now. 30 days, and this is the 31st. That's when the first time you're gonna see this. I'm nearing here now. So day 31, you can see there's nobody working. It's not that because we were stopped. You know what's the cause of this? This is lunchtime now that I get down, because old B is so demanding today. I made some breakfast. Then he wants to have some pancakes so that while we're at it, and said, oh, I need some pancakes. I already cooked him the big breakfast, and then want some afters, which is the desserts. And then look, I'm running late, and this is the cause. Although we are working today, we're not been stopped. I just wanna show you that I was late because of old B so demanding. And here you can see that they have started to file on for the walls of the toilet. Intended toilet is over here, and this is the back of the intended toilet. Will be like a worktop, L-shaped worktop, and after 3 files we're gonna be putting a horizontal bar which will be connected to the rebars on the pile. As you can see, it's straight onto the file. There's a rebar that's straight onto there. So that's what you can see. They were going to be digging that one. They purposely target that vertical bar to the size of it, so we can connect the horizontal towards it. Also, they have started to file on the septic tank. So they've taken out the forms on the beam that they poured yesterday. There, you can see it. All on the other room. So all the beams is now been done. So, and after the filing of this one, we will be doing the rendering. So we are here, but it's lunchtime. That's why there's no people. I'm just trying to show you that I've been running so late because of old B so demanding. If I'm gonna have another 30 years of this, I'm gonna be strangling him. I'm getting depressed just thinking about it. But actually, it's not so bad. It's just him. I've been living with it for 20 years. I know how to put up with it now. I'm going back now for my second check in the afternoon. This is day 31. So there's a delivery for chicken on to go back. So I was so hot this morning. I was so in rush because of the demand of my old bee that when I get back from that check where all my workers are having lunch, I don't feel very well at all. Then I forgot I haven't eaten anything after the hot cooking in the kitchen, and I haven't drunk anything. I was dehydrated. So right now I'm also bringing a container of water with me as now part of my kit because it's really getting hot here in the Philippines. I'd like to share with you that I have a message from someone who wants to contribute to my wish of a MacBook Pro. I have helped him before with some advice about why he's asking here about the Philippines, and his way of thanking me, he wants to contribute to that MacBook Pro, so I won't be lumbering my old bee of buying me one. I vehemently deny. Please don't. I don't like that people donates on me. I come from the poorest of the poor, and I took pride that I have worked my way up. I took pride in what I got, the education I have, and who I am now because of that fight. And I don't have to rely on handouts when I was younger. And if I do, I would not be what I am now. So please, we're good friends now, even though you're living from a foreign land. But when next time you visit in the Philippines, I'll still be your friend if you want to. But I don't want you to donate something which I know the old bastard can easily afford, because you have to think, and also got some emails that maybe the old bee is just trying to talk me out of it because of the price issue. Come on. This budget bungalow will be costing more than a MacBook Pro. And we are giving this away. A MacBook Pro? That's nothing. He just wants me to bleed on it. I mean, he will win if I get a lower quality or lower than a MacBook Pro. And that's what, because I win, because it will happen sooner this year. And if the way he sees this, if he can get me off the notch of a MacBook Pro, like an iMac or much better Mac Mini, then he thinks he won. So MacBook Pro next. But I'm also contemplating about having an iMac because I like the widescreen. Here I am on the build now, day 31. All my boys are working. There's Tatay Tony there doing the file for the kitchen and the worktop unit. We will be putting a small worktop here. Tay. So let's see who's yapping with them here. So there's Bredo and Daloy on the septic tank, aka also known as the cesspit. So this is how he is now on the toilet wall, and also there will be a little L-shaped worktop on the back, so you can see the rebars that he intended to put the pile of the small slab here for the worktop, and that will be filed with hollow blocks. That one hollow blocks for the footing. It's only like a small file just for a little kitchen, because although they're not used to this sort of kitchen because they're working on tables, it will be convenient for the old couple. And while also here you can see that we're chipping off to see the rebars on the wall, so we can put the horizontals and also the bars that we're gonna put on top for the worktop be connected to the wall of the house. So this is a lot more better than the house that they have. And also when we pile the third file of the hollow blocks, we chip into the wall of the hollow blocks to put the horizontal bar over. So I hope you can see what we're doing, and also do not forget that we are doing this on a budget. That's why the project is called the Budget Bungalow. Tay, nagunsa ka man diha? So both the lads are having a pair. So the two senior citizens are pairing for filing the walls of the toilet and the small worktop, while the two young lads, Fredo and Daloy, are pairing in pouring the septic tank or our cesspit. So this is what I'm gonna explain in a minute what we're doing here. I know I'm gonna have a lot of hate when I see this, because you know a lot of people know better than me, but you have to understand what I'm doing and have a look at what I'm replacing. So the doorway from this door will be open outwards, whereas this toilet door will be opening inwards. So this is their little hallway. To go out there to where their dirty kitchen's gonna be. That will be on top of that septic tank. So this is where the third floor. So that's enough hallway for a person to go through. Look at that Tailitos going there. So I would like to make the mistake that I had on day 30, because the total that you see for day 31 was a glitch of the editing program that I use, which is iMovie as of the moment, and this happened to me twice already, that when I drag out total number, it didn't come through. So what you can see at day 30 is still the 141,726, which is the day 29 total, whereas the real total for running total for day 30 should have been 145,526. That's labor and materials for day 30. But that now you can see why I need a new computer. So because right now I am learning how to use the Final Cut Pro. I had a program, but I think it's best suited if I had a new computer. But still work on my computer, but it's better with a new MacBook Pro. And then I'm trying to learn the tricks and what is the program for the Final Cut Pro for my editing. But as of the moment, I know someone was asking me what editing program I use. I'm still using the iMovie. And sometimes it glitch. Like the number that I put for day 30 did not register, and it's still registering the day 29 total. So this is what I get with if the program sometimes have its own mind. It will not heed to what you want it to do. So now you can see the little division, but you still see that there is still enough room. That will be the little kitchen. They can have their dining table there and the chairs that they have there. So for the two old couples, this is plenty enough room. So it's exciting to see it's all shaping up now. I know that we still not rendered it, but it will be done tomorrow. Like I said yesterday, it's either the render or they're gonna be making the blocks, which I told them that it's better with the blocks, so it's rendering, just all rendering, because of the mixing will be different. This is the using sand, whereas tomorrow they'll just be using all the fine sand. Because we're also gonna be rendering the septic part where Predo is now filing. Yeah, so that's the ikot where the old couple that will be having this house. And you see he's walking around in his scratches because he broke his foot or leg. So I know I'm gonna have a lot of hate when I explain it to you, but I'll explain it to you in detail and to see what's my logic behind this. So the law is turning on the mixie now. So you can see mixie sounds better, not like she's been like strangled because of the new oil that she had in her machine. That I think I gotta have to make a schedule and a reminder on my phone. I'll have to do this every how many usage and change the oil, because the next project I'll change the oil again before we even use it. After the end of this project, we will be changing the oil again of mixie. And so they will be mixing 4 sand to 1 cement for our piling of the blocks, like we always do. 4 sand to 1 cement. So after that, I'll be giving you the total for the day, the rebars, the cement, and the hollow blocks. So what you're looking at here is the septic tank that me and the boys have agreed to build. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this because this is just one chamber one. Because I could show you other videos of houses bigger than what I'm building right now and got more people living on it instead of just 2 old couples like I will be having in mine. So don't judge me that it has no 3 chambers, no leach fields, no baffles in between, because I want to show you and understand why am I doing this and look closely to what kind of system I will be replacing. So here, beside this proposed septic, or the one that we're making right now, is where the old couple's old toilet, which is that one. So you can see from this corner, this toilet don't even have a column. It was just squared off, just a pile of hollow blocks. Now you can see the drainage that they have, a PVC, and you will see a toilet seat inside. But what's really amazing in this old toilet is it is built without any provision for a septic tank or where the dirt's gonna be. It's just built on top of rocks, and hollow blocks has been piled in. So This is what I want you to understand. What am I replacing? So you see there, that's the provision where the fluid or the liquid will go out. Right away from the house. Now if you look inside, it's just built up on a pile of rocks, and you can see the building itself, which the box is just made of the crisscross of the hollow blocks like this here. Now I will show you inside. Then you can see there is a toilet seat. Now I want to show you how they use it, and don't be amazed because they are not the only one. This is the normal way the people in the Philippines, mostly in the provinces, do it. So when they do the first call of business, the fluid coming out from the toilet seat will just flow from there outside of their house. Now if they do the second part of nature's business, they put a polythene bag around the bowl. Then when they finish doing it, they wrap it up tightly with a tissue, clean up themselves, wrap it up tightly, the whole polythene bag, and chuck it on the rubbish. Now that is the one I want you to understand what I'm replacing and the one that I'm building here. So I believe this is a better system, cleaner, because the fluid will be contained in this hole here. What is this? It's like a soak pit. It's a cross between a septic tank and a cesspit, because I cannot even get the pipe for a leach field. The only thing I could use is using the PVC pipe but drill holes on it to function as a cesspit, but it's not the real cesspit pipe that you use that I see in some videos. So with this system that we're making and agreed yesterday, it's a lot more cleaner and a lot more sanitary than the one that we are replacing. And also, this is not the way I build. When I was building my castle, my guest house, I got 3 chambers. I have baffles in between and leach field for the fluid. But this one is gonna be like cesspit and septic tank crossover. So this is what I call the soak pit. But we will try to get the system ventilation so there will be no more comeback of smells to inside the house. And even though this is a budget bungalow build. Now, do not forget, this is a budget bungalow build. When I build the next house, which is the middle budget house, you won't be seeing a cesspit con with the mix of septic tank. It's gonna be proper chambered, proper baffled in between, and the leach field will be there. But as of now, when I know about what is the toilet system of the old couple, this is a far, far better system. So it will be filed to the top, just going over that pipe that's coming out from the wall. So please, before you all have, oh, it's not gonna be done like that, blah blah blah, this is the Philippines. You don't even flush the tissues on the toilet. Even though if you go to the malls around here in the Philippines, they tell you to throw all your tissues in the garbage can, provided that's been lined with garbage liners. So we don't, it's only the dirt and the fluid will be coming out, going to this cesspit, and no tissues. And besides, the old couple is not used to tissues. They're used to cleaning themselves up with fluid. And another thing that you're gonna see is I don't have any provision for showers inside the house. Like I said, the water system here is through pumping out the water from a well. And so they're used to storing it in barrels. And this is also the area where they wash their clothes and they shower. So you cannot introduce at this time any new tricks to a new dog, to an old dog, I mean, because we will incorporate as much as to the system that they're used to, like their plumbing system, which is what I said is the barrel storage of water, so that you don't see it inside the house, or the plumbing provisions. And also the electrical system will be as much as possible their old way, which we'll be using is to transfer the old system and just replace what are the broken wires and all that, but will not introduce new more, because as the request of the old couple, they try to avoid any more that will entail them to have additional electrical bill every month, because they're only living on their senior citizen budget and whatever they can get out of wheeling and dealing a little bit, which is on the old man's case will be wheeling and dealing their land, or like that charcoal thing that he got a share of 2,000 pesos. So you can see if they have a lot of electrical provisions here, the grandchildren will be here plugging all their gadgets or whatever they have over here, because it will be the grandparents who will be paying the electric bill. But this is what I said. I just cannot, for the like of me, that all the children of this old couple has never improved from what they grown up to. I cannot imagine that they're just content to be as like how they grow up. Because for me, when I was growing up in the squatter, I told my mother when I was young, and they still can remember it when they were still alive, I told them all in the dinner table, when I grow up, I'll never live this kind of life that you're giving me. So that's why my mom always called me the devil's child, because as a Filipino child growing up, you should not be talking like that to your parents. But I did. I told them, if it kills me, I'll have myself educated. So I will not be living in this kind of you're here. And I did it. I'm so glad before my parents go on, they saw my life has changed. They saw me fulfill that words that I told them on the dining table, because I was able to provide them a better house as well on their their last years of their life. And I make as much as possible their life convenient than what we're used to. And that is why I cannot understand these old couples' children, that none of them, despite the land that they're inheriting, none of them ever strive to have a better life than what they grown up to. The reason, do you realize that I don't speak English through, now that I'm older, I can speak like this because my mother, like I said, I always talk back when I was younger. And as a Filipino child growing up, you should not be talking back to your parents. I'm the sort, if you let me buy a bottle of Coke, I'll be asking you, what do you need it for? And is it gonna be cans or bottle? Do you gonna keep the change or not? And before you know it, we'll be discussing in 10 minutes instead of just follow and get it. So that's not a good trait of a Filipino child. So they decided among my siblings to send me to a nun-school. This nun-school that I've been to when I was younger, I don't know if they're nuns, but the nuns will not speak to you in our vernacular language. The nuns I could remember would just look at you and you start speaking the language of Cebuano language. They only speak to you if you speak English. So every night we have phrases and spellings to memorize, and the next day from 5 years old to 6 years old, I'm trained in the nun school to speak English every day. It's a scholarship sort of thing that you have to pass a certain test, which I was so proud that I passed, but it means that I have to be accepting all the disciplines of the nuns. And also their very strict implementation of speaking English only. It is like the nun school that's under the Aboites Foundation, but you still have to pass all the exams, and they are really strict. We go to church every day, but the best thing that I learned from that school is to speak English. I don't say perfectly, but you will never be you don't even think twice about speaking English. Like, it's just come out naturally, like naturally you will speak the local language. So that's why when I was growing up, I realized that changing your life is in your hands. And so I said, if you are relying on handouts, I am not what I am today. I will never be achieving what I've achieved. If someone's paying for this and paying for that, there is no more challenge. So I got a lot of respect for people that's achieving through their own efforts, not relying on handouts. Because I was once there. And I can remember when I used to work in a factory. After graduating in college, that I used to be the production manager of a factory in the export processing zone, that I have to work 2 shift things, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, just because I gotta have to support my family and also my parents, my families, and also to educate yourself further. So there you got no social life, but then again, you can't have it all. You have a good job, but you have no social life. Like, so I mean, you can't have it all. So, but it's all worth it. You have self-respect, you have self-pride, and you don't rely on handouts. I don't have the opportunity of inheriting lands. I don't have the opportunity of inheriting anything at all. Like I said to my husband, I'm only inheriting their debts. Nothing to inherit. No land given to me. I am the one who's giving to them. So I have more respect for people that work hard to achieve what they got than people who rely on handouts. So you see, Fredo is putting on the horizontal rebars across, like I said, in every 3 levels of file of the blocks. So he's filing it on the 6 now, so he got those horizontal bars, and after we will be rendering inside the hole as well. It will be over this pipe. So the whole total will be about 6 foot deep or 6.5 foot deep. by the time that you put in the flooring on the top and a little manhole. So day 30, the running total was 145,526. That's including the labor and materials. So today, day 31, there is 165 blocks used, 5 bags of cement with a 4 sand mix for filing the blocks, and 8 10 mm rebars has been used for the vertical columns and horizontal, not vertical columns, vertical rebars and horizontal rebars. So this is this part here, the toilet room, and a little bit of the first footings of the little kitchen counter, and also the filing of the septic cesspit, the soak pit I call it. So it's now 4:45, so they're on the last lane of their pile and on the last bit of muck. Then tomorrow, that's what they've done today, and also taken out all the forms of all the header beams they poured yesterday. So it's all there, ready now for rendering. Just need clearing up of all the wires. They tied it in, chip out all the smooth part, and here, day 31. Next, definitely tomorrow will be the rendering, because they're almost there. Rendering and squaring, but I think old Tony will be still doing the filing of the blocks on the little counter. And Wilfredo will be continuing with the top of the soak pit, septic tank, and then put a little manhole on it before we pour it in as well. So that will be done tomorrow, Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be definitely the rendering, or the finishing we call it here in the Philippines, of the walls. So you can see how it looks like now, with all the additional partition for the toilet and the little counter. It's still a big space for the 2 old people that's gonna have this house. It's more spacious than what they get, but I know they have provided for the one that's gonna inherit it when they gone. So 5 minutes to 5 o'clock, they're just finishing the 1 bucket of muck. So they have added additional 5 hollow blocks on it and 1 more rebar. So the total of the rebars used is now 9 pieces of 10 mm rebar, 170 blocks, and 5 bags of cement with a 4 sand mix. So here they managed to have 5 more blocks filled up for the 5 o'clock, and then extending the rebars, because there will be 2 more files for this one. That's the first one, and then one that will be level here on the floor. So like I said, it will be like 6-7 foot deep soak pit. And now they'll start cleaning up. It's now 5 o'clock.